Everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel Tiny Learn Hub and welcome back to our SQL interview series. So in today's episode, we are going to, you know about the count column and the count distinct column. So this is the difference between these three things I want to explain to you in this today's episode. Okay, so in our today's episode, first we need to prepare our table. So this is our employee 23 table, and I just dropping this table if there are any kind of duplicate tables are there, and I'm creating a distinguished table for employee 23. Okay, now in here I am adding some records in here. So notice something that employee 3 don't have any email id, employee 5 is also don't have any kind of email id, and employee 8 also don't have any kind of email id. Okay, and employee 7 don't have any kind of department into it. So I am trying to inserting this record. Okay, now in here let's see what are our tables going to look like. Okay, let me expand this one. Yeah, so this is our data. Now in here, suppose look carefully. Okay, so the emails and the department which are missing from that particular employees are come as a null. Okay, this is a null value, this is one. Now we also have to remember that null value is the, it is a particular value because they are the key to understand the difference between the count star and the count column. So that's why we are using the null. Now let's start with the count star. Okay, now in here I have wrote one query in here. Okay, so first let's start with the simplest one, the count star. Okay, so what do you think the result will be for this particular query? We have 8 rows, right, as you see in our data table. So let's run this particular query, okay, and see the result. Yeah, so as you see, we take the count as 8 in here. Why? Because count star counts the row. It does not care whether a column contains null or there are the 8 rows are there into that table. So count star returns you the 8. So think about this way. You can make it like this way as well. Like count star means how many rows are there. It only counts how many rows are there. It not going to check whether it is null or anything else. Now in here, let's come to the another query what I have wrote, that is count column. Okay, so now things are getting interesting in here. Let's check that count start to count email. Okay, particularly now before running this query, predict the result. Okay, we still have 8 employees, correct? So will the answer be 8? Let's run it and then we can find the answer. Let me run the query. Yeah, as you see, it comes as a 5. Why? Because we have 8 employees. The reason is count column, or in here count email in here. So this particular count column ignores the null value. Only the 5 employees who have that a value in the email comment, email column, 3 employees have the null. So count email counts only the 5 non-null employee values. This is a very important interview rule, that count star counts the row and count of any particular column counts non-null values. Okay, particularly only remember this way. Now let's come to count distinct column. Okay, so that is very interesting part in this episode. Now this time we are counting particular department. Okay, before running this query, let's think about the values. We have IT, HR, finance and null. Okay, what do you think the answer will be? Let's run the query. Okay, yeah, so as you see, you can 3 only. So why? Because count distinct department counts unique non-null values. IT may appear multiple times, but we count it only once. HR may appear multiple times, but we count only once. Finance, same thing goes for finance as well, and null is not counted. So we have three unique non-null departments. Now in here, if I want to, particularly execute this distinct query, yeah, so as you see, we are getting the department like this way. So we can verify that thing. Like here, I am using the distinct without count. Okay, so this shows us the unique department values. We can see the null value as well, including HR, IT and finance department. But remember something important, select distinct includes the null as a distinct result. However, count distinct department does not count null. That's another small details that can easily appear in an interview. So distinct can display the null, but count distinct column ignores the null. Now there is a difference between the count star and count column. So let's find out what is the difference. So if I show you this query, this is a query. Now in here, let's compare the both values in single query. Okay, we have count star and count email. The result is the total employee is 8, employee with email is 5. This makes the different differences very clear. Count star asks you how many rows, and count email asks you like how many non-null email values are there. So whether you can count, use count, or don't use that look for function, don't just use that one. Think about exactly what you are trying to count. So let me execute this one. Yeah, so this is the difference. Now in here, I have wrote another query for you. So this is the query. Okay. So let's count, let's use a count distinct on two different columns. First, count distinct department. And this tells us how many unique non-null departments we have. Then count distinct email. This tells us how many unique non-null email addresses we have. Notice that count distinct also ignores the null value. So the general rule is count distinct means unique, non-null values are going to count in here. So let me execute this one. Yeah. So as you see, this is the unique department and this is the unique emails. So there is a difference between that one. Now, let's find out another query. So find the employee without email. Okay. So this is the one. Now, so far we have been talking about the null values. So let's actually find the employee who don't have any kind of email. For that, we use whether email is null. Notice that we don't write that email equals to null. Okay, so that's incorrect. For null comparisons, we use is null or is not null. Okay, as I use in here, is null. Now, this query shows us the employees whose value, email value is null, and we can see that there are three of them. Okay, so let's execute this one. Yeah, so three of them. Now let's count the null emails. Okay, so in here, this is the query. So calculate the number of the particular employees without an email. Remember, count star gives us all the rows, that's 8. Count email gives us only non-null emails, that's 5. So 5 minus, you can 8 minus 5 is count as a 3. So that's exactly how many employees don't have that email. So this is useful like SQL trick. So we can calculate the number of null values using count star minus count of the column. So that's the same thing I did it here. Let's run the query. Yeah. So as you see, 3 is the result. Now next come to the another query where I particularly count the employees by department. Okay. So this is a query. So question is how many employees are in the each department. We select department, then we use the count star and finally group by the particular department. This creates one group for each department and count star tells us how many rows are inside each group. Notice something interesting that the employee with a null department also forms a group, and that's because group by can group null values together. Let me execute this one and you will find the answer. Yeah, this is the one. Now, if I want to count emails by department, okay, so for that one, what we need to do, instead of count star, we will use the count email. Okay, we are still grouping by department, but now count email ignores null email values. So the result tells us how many employees in each department actually have an email. So this is a great example of why count star and count column are not interchangeable. Okay, now in here this is the one. Now if I want to go for the interview challenges you are going to face, for that one is particular for today's episode I want to give you some challenge on basis of that. So here I have some challenges for you. Let me close this one. Yeah, so this is our today's challenge for you guys. So in here you can create your own employee 23 table. If you want to use mine, you can use that one also. So today's challenge is find the number one is total employee, and number two is employee with an email, number three is employee number of unique department, and number four is number of employees without an email. So these four things you need to find first. Okay, use your own employee table or you can use mine as well. And there is one bonus problem for you guys as well, that is find the number of employees in each department. But there is one important question, like which count you will you use, count star, count column, or count distinct. Pause the video and try solving it yourself. Don't look at the pinned comment yet, write your queries first, then check your answer against the solution. Final interview cheat sheet I want to give you, that is count star counts the row. Okay, always remember that count star counts the row, count column non-null values it needs to count, and count distinct column only unique non-null values are going to count by using this. Okay, now before we finish, here is the easiest way to remember today's lesson. So you need to remember this cheat sheet. So this is way you can remember only how when to use that count star, when to use that count column, and when to use that count distinct column. So this is way it is, question yourself. So am I counting the rows, am I counting the values, or am I counting the unique values? That one question will help you to choose which count you are going to use. So, and that's for the episode 23. So SQL Lab, and if you are finding any kind of problems, you can pin your problem into the comment and I'll try to answer that question. You will find the explanation useful. Like the video and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and don't forget to solve today's challenge and before checking the pin comment. Okay, and I'll see you in the next episode. Till then, keep learning, keep practicing, and keep cracking those SQL interviews. Till then, bye.